Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Caleb.
And Casey with the C4 Podcast.
How you been living, bro?
I've been living real poorly. I had 2 Mountain Dews today, and I'm full of bad decisions, sugar, and regrets.
Sorry, I ate pizza. My carb load's crazy.
Oh, yeah, you don't need it anymore. I think you've already got a carb load.
Shade.
Yeah. All right, so we figured we'd talk to you today about Caleb's experience with selling door-to-door vacuums.
Here's 5 things that I learned from selling vacuum cleaners door to door. Number 1, personal responsibility. One of the things that separates a sales job from a regular job, especially on a commission structure, is that the only person in charge of your income is you. It was my first time, because I was 20 years old when I started, where I was not given compensation directly based on the amount of hours that I worked. I was not trading my time for money. I was trading skills for money. I didn't have many to begin with.
You did not. You sucked at first.
I'm not a natural born salesperson. But I learned that it is a skill that you can hone. There's certain aspects of it. But it teaches you personal responsibility in a way that only something that affects your finances can.
Yeah. If you aren't responsible, you starve.
Yeah, and it is the so you are, unlike other jobs, because you're not compensated directly for your time.
Mm-hmm.
Your income is going to fluctuate based on your performance. Some of that's due to you, some of that's due to outside factors. But you can have a week where you make $3,500 followed by a week where you make $100.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people make the mistake of blowing that $3,500 because they think they can make it again next week, and then rent comes due, and then they made $100 that week. So really, in all reality, if you divided it out, you made $2,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
But
you have to divide it out.
Yeah. So
pay your bills first, kids.
Yeah. And the other aspect of that is that when I'm not making money, the only person responsible for that is me. I can blame other things, but it won't help.
Yeah.
It won't even help if I'm accurately blaming other things. At the end of the day, the only one responsible for my income and my success is me. Mm-hmm. And people who learned that made a lot of money in that industry.
Yeah.
A lot. And people who didn't learn that quickly found themselves back at McDonald's. But as a intro to sales, it's a hard intro to sales in that respect.
Yeah.
It's not, there's a slow falter that goes when you get into other forms of sales. Like car sales usually operate on what's known as a draw program, where they pay you an hourly rate and they take that away from your commission.
Yeah.
So if I don't make, like I did a short stint at Art Van, where I made, I don't remember what it was, $12 an hour? I mean, let's say it's $12 an hour. I made like $12 an hour selling furniture. However, all of the money I made in commission, that got taken away from. And then I got paid a commission check at the end of the month. So if I didn't make any commission that entire month, I would get paid an hourly rate the entire month, whether I made that commission or not. And then when it came time to settle at the end of the month, then I was screwed. It kind of elongates that problem.
Yeah.
This was a direct commission job.
No safety net.
There's nothing there. So if I didn't make money that week, I didn't make money that week.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to, even if there is stuff to blame, you learn that, well, maybe it was raining all week and nobody wanted to let you in. Mm-hmm. You are still the one that has to deal with that.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an aspect of personal responsibility that I think you learn by it hitting your wallet that you can't learn elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the rain wasn't that big of a problem. You had no problem getting in during a tornado.
That's fair. That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
But the sky was not green.
There were no munchkins dancing. I don't know the province. Must not be a tornado.
Yep. Second thing I learned from Kirby is how to take the word no. No is a big word in a lot of people's lives. And you can see, if you do yourself a favor, walk down the street tomorrow, well, maybe not tomorrow with the sweet and sour sickin' going on, But when you go, when you're able to go in some place in public, just look at people and say the word no and see how they react.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah. No is worse than the F-bomb in our culture.
Huh?
No, you take the word no harder than most people take the C word. It is something.
Not wrong.
Yeah, it's something that we're not innately equipped to deal with.
So how did you get over no's?
So, when you sell vacuum cleaners door to door, you have to go up to somebody's house and convince them to let you in the door to show off your products. We did it a variety of ways. Some of them we gave them gifts. Some of them we shampooed rooms in their carpet. But no matter what it was, there's a certain amount of people that after you gave them your pitch would be like, sorry, no, get the heck out of here. And you have to take your shame and regret and your big old Kirby box and walk yourself back to the van.
Yeah.
Because we all rode around in Astro vans.
Tight.
It's like the 18.
Except for B.A. Baracus is a 90-pound chick that will scream at you.
On average, throughout my entire career, I figured out that it took about 72 knock-knocks before somebody would go, yeah, I'll see what you got. Come on in. It took about 72 of those. So it means before I ever get a yes, I got 72 no's. And
well, even when you got a yes, it wasn't necessarily a yes to begin with.
yeah, we'll come back to that. But the word no has a lot of connotations in most people. Most people go through life trying to figure out ways not to hear that word.
Oh.
It is a dirty word. It hits pretty hard. Like most people, one of the reasons why they struggle with finding a significant other is because going up and talking to that person and trying to ask them on a date.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm a chick and I see a real hot dude that I think is out of my league, I naturally won't go talk to him.
Yeah.
Naturally, because I've already made up in my mind that he's going to say no, and that hurts.
Yeah.
On an emotional level, that hurts.
Well, and also you're putting a lot of, like, anybody that you find attractive, you're going to put a lot of your own self-worth on them, whether they're worthy of it or not.
And that no means a lot.
Yeah.
And we have trained ourselves to shy away from that. And it keeps you from doing a lot of things in life. Like, maybe you could date up a couple points. You know, I'm a 6. I've dated some 8s.
You're maybe a 6.
Maybe a 6.
That's giving yourself a lot of extra points.
We'll go with that. I'm a 6 with a beard.
You're a 6 with a handicap. Like, if we were bowling, you're like a 10-point handicap.
That's a pretty good handicap. Golf, it's a great handicap. But, no, it's something most people aren't faced with in life. So when you have to go, and that's how you earn a living in Kirby, in any kind of door, any kind of sales at all, you earn a living by hearing the word no. Because after figuring that out, what my brain did, is my brain went, okay, if I have to get through 72 people on average saying nope before I hear my first yes, and it's even not even a yes, I'll buy it, it's a yes, I'll look. By doing that, it made me have to seek out no's. It made me have to go up to that door and hear no, to the point where it didn't bother me, to the point where I was kind of even excited. Okay, if I get this no out of the way, the next one's more likely to be a yes. It's a compounding statistic. It's not actually quite how statistics work, but you have to make it work in your brain. So I used a compounding statistic. But the word no is something that you have to learn to deal with in life, and Kirby's a crash course for that. The third thing that I learned from Kirby is what the word no actually means. And no's don't always mean no.
That's kind of rapey.
It does come across as kind of rapey. But
it's not just kind of. It's just solidly rapey.
So, let's give some examples, okay? When you are at a soiree and you see a beautiful girl and you're like, would you go to my bedroom with me? And she goes, no. That means no.
Solidly means no.
Hard no. We're going to call that a hard no. However, in Kirby, let's say that I'm showing off, or any sales in particular. When I'm showing off my vacuum cleaner that I'm showing off, I'm going through the demonstration, and I'm showing different tools, features. Somebody seems really into it. And then I say, hey, would you like to get one? And they're like, no.
No, not really.
If I just go, okay, they're not going to buy it, pack up my stuff, and leave, I am a broke salesperson. Because what they actually said was, no, but you never followed up with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that sometimes what no actually means is I need to know more about it. Or maybe she said, no, because I kind of would like to talk to my husband in private about this before we make a group decision on whether to spend this kind of money on a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. Because how much was it?
It was $2,500
for vacuum.
For vacuum, and
for a vacuum.
Give
them at freaking Walmart for $50.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the presentation that we did was kind of trying to justify that, because there are reasons why you would spend $2,500 on a vacuum cleaner. And if you ever have an opportunity to watch a Kirby show, I would watch it, because at the end, even if you decide, I don't want to buy this thing. I kind of did like they shampooed my carpets for free, but I don't want to buy this thing. You'll actually see why it's worth that. Yeah. But it's very hard to explain over a camera why it's
because it's actually worth $2,500. It's like the difference between buying a Accord and buying a Bugatti. They both get you where you need to go. But
yeah.
But
so the thing about it is, not everybody's prepared on a random Tuesday who's there? It's the Kirby guy. Oh, cool, I got $2,500 sitting right on my kitchen counter waiting for you. Not everybody's prepared for that. Yeah. And there's other ways to buy, there's finance options, whatever. But the point is that a lot of times they're not ready to make that fiscal decision right in that moment. Sometimes they need a minute to think, a minute to breathe. Sometimes there's other things going on. Great example of this. This is a story time.
Story time.
I had this lady. She's roughly about 55 years old. I'm going to tell you, she looked 35.
Not justifying the rapey thing still.
You have to say that, though. You can't accuse a woman of looking 55.
No, you can't.
But I get done. I show her everything that the Kirby does, all the different features, how it compares to other vacuum cleaners. I got 56 pages of pamphlets to leave with her. Not quite that bad. But
I don't know. It kind of was that bad.
She's digging it. She's into this thing. She wants to own a Kirby. She's let me know at this point that she would like to own a Kirby. So I offer her, like, hey, why don't you get one? She's like, I can't. And I follow up with that. Why not? And she's like, no, I can't buy one. Why not? And she says, well, at my age, it's really hard for me because we have a 2-story house. And the Kirby weighs about 20 pounds, let's say, once you get it full of dirt. Mm-hmm. She thought it was a lot for her to have to haul up and down the stairs. And I just simply asked, what if you had 2? And she went, oh, I could get 2, yeah. Then I could just have one upstairs and downstairs. And she bought 2 vacuum cleaners that day. Because the no didn't actually mean I don't want to buy one. What that no meant was I have a problem that I need a solution for. Sometimes that's what the word no means. It's just like in the rest of life. Maybe the reason why you didn't get that job wasn't because they didn't want you, but because of, I don't know, maybe you lacked a certain bit of training. And if you don't follow up with that, you don't know why. And I think one of the reasons why I was able to ask questions after they said no and not come across as rapey is because I genuinely wanted to know why. Because maybe my attitude was crap that day. Maybe they didn't like the color tie I was wearing. Maybe they didn't like my whole door approach. Maybe they didn't have the money. If I didn't find out why, if I had made a mistake, if I had made a problem, I can't fix that. And I genuinely wanted to be as good as possible at that in the most honest way possible. So in honestly asking that question and trying to better myself, most people are willing to help. They're willing to respond to that. Or they're willing to let you know why not. Because I think, let's go same scenario. I'm at a soiree. We're not going to ask this girl to sleep with us. That's rapey. But I'm at a soiree and I'm like, hey, could I get your number? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, that's fair. just for my own personal reasons. Why not? Is it because I'm not attractive? Is it because do I look creepy? Maybe I look creepy. Mm-hmm. Maybe I slicked my hair back that day and I had on a short sleeve button up shirt and I just looked shady as heck. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you genuinely ask that with honestly wanting to better yourself, some people will answer that and give you the tools to better yourself.
Some people might mace you though.
They might, and that's a risk that you have to take sometimes.
Oh no, for it.
But part of that comes across with the honest intentions.
Mm-hmm.
If I have honest intentions, if I'm asking this question because I want to honestly better myself, our brains are tuned for bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, your monkey brain will let you know when people are trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
No.
So as long as you go in with some honest intent, as long as if you don't get hired and you honestly want to better yourself, and you're not like, why didn't you hire me? What the heck? I'm a perfect candidate. If you're just like, hey, just so I have some feedback so I can help for myself, what is it about me that made you say no? You have an opportunity to better yourself.
Yeah.
So number 3 is Kirby gave me a different way to look at no's. The 4th thing that I learned from selling vacuum cleaners door to door
is work ethic.
It is. Work ethic is something that I had always thought. I grew up on a farm. I thought I knew some work ethic. Before I did that, I worked as a roofer, and I thought I knew what work ethic was. Because as a roofer, you have...
Yeah. Take care of it.
There we go. All right. As a roofer, I learned a lot about hard work, hard physical labor. You know, we're hauling shingles up and down the ladder every day. We got these long flipping days where we are just pumping out work. But then I showed up at Kirby. Kirby, for me, was 6 days a week, 16 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is, because of the nature of sales, you got to be on your game 24/7, 365.
Mm-hmm.
When I go up and I knock on the door, if I don't have a pleasant attitude, my odds of them taking time out of their very busy schedule to take a look at what I'm showing, their odds of doing that to a person with a crappy attitude is very low.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not hitting all of my sales points in my presentation, if I'm not asking them to buy it the right way, if I'm not on top of my game, it directly affects my income, and my life is worse off for that. So my mental and emotional game has got to be on point to make money selling vacuum cleaners door to door. So having to stay that mentally focused for 16 hours a day is taxing.
Yeah.
It's not the physical work ethic that I learned. It's the rest of work ethic. The things that make the rest of the world that aren't manual laborers.
Well, yeah, it's a different kind of work ethic.
It is.
It's a mental work ethic more than a physical work ethic.
It is, because I've had jobs since then where I work 10, 12-hour days, but for about 8 hours of that 10-hour day, I get to turn my brain off. I get to do mindless, repetitive tasks. I have to sit there and enter data. I get to stock some shelves. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't require me to be acutely focused on something.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've worked at a lot of other jobs. You know,
yeah.
You have a very mentally and emotionally taxing job currently.
Yeah.
Out of a 10-hour day, though, how much of that would you say your brain has to be focused on a singular task?
Between 20 and 50%. Like, some days it's 2 hours, some days it's 5 hours. Really depends on its number of sales calls, it's the number of, like, it's how many hours I get to do purchasing. Like, really, like, the days where I get to do purchasing half the day, like, I kind of leave work well rested, versus the days where it's mostly sales calls. Like, I leave work and I'm friggin' dragging.
It's a difference.
Yeah.
And you got to sell vacuum cleaners with me for a little while, for a short stint. So you have been able to feel acutely the difference between, because you went right from working a direct job into that.
Well, yeah, and the industry I'm in right now is a lot more yes-oriented. Like, I'm not beating my head against the wall. I have guys that I give bids to. The bid either gets accepted or denied, but they're still my customer at the end of the day.
So the difference between having to be focused, because I would say in order to be successful vacuum cleaner salesman or any kind of direct sales market like that, where you have to be on your front customers not 24 hours a day, but your entire work day, and you have to be on fire all the time.
Yeah.
You're
You're also playing the short game.
You are.
Like in my current job, I play the long game. I have year-long, decade-long relationships with customers where I don't necessarily have to be strong on the front end. Like if my first meeting with somebody is just botched, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have 30 more friggin' tries because it's a small market. I'm going to see them again. We're going to be around. And I'll get you. I'll get you eventually.
Yep. Well, and it's very hard to be, because I don't think there are very many people in the world that can be that focused 100% of the time.
No.
I really don't. There's a lot of people that profess to be, but you're not. You're not. I challenge this to people all the time. There are apps that you can install on your phone that will let you know how much time you spend on Facebook or on social media or playing games.
It's horrible. Don't do it.
If you really
I got kicked off Facebook today and I took it personally. Because I set that timer for 2 hours. That's a moment.
If you would like to time audit yourself, I would encourage you to do so, because you will really see, if you think you're 100% focused all the time, you will really see how much of the time you are spent focused on a task. Just distracted, not everything else, just by distractions from your phone.
Well, and on all the new flagship phones, they time audit you for you. Like they don't, like if you go into settings and you go into accessibility, like it'll just tell you spent 3.5 hours pinning stuff and you spent 4 hours on the Book of Faces and like just a ridiculous amount of wasted time on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so like part of that, like your first point, personal responsibility. I mean to backtrack, but like
sure.
Like part of personal responsibility is kind of looking honestly at yourself. And it sucks. Really does. It's not a fun mirror to look in when you realize like, holy cow, the little bright box just takes over my life.
And that's just your phone. That's not even all the other distractions.
Yeah.
That's not the joke that you told your coworker or when you were eavesdropping on somebody else's phone.
Yeah, that's just your freaking phone.
So when you look at a typical day though in a direct sales market like that, so in order to sell a vacuum cleaner, you go through about 45 minutes, which takes you about 72 doors.
Yeah.
So you have 45 minutes where you are, who's there?
Well, it's 45 minutes if you're good at knocking doors.
Yeah.
Like if your door skills aren't strong, that looks like an hour and a half and 300 doors.
It does. And then you have an hour and a half presentation in front of someone with shampoo and carpets and showing off all different features and stuff. For all of that time, your phone's off and you are just one-on-one with your customers. So you basically have a 2 to 3 hour window where you are, I would say, about 80 to 90% mentally focused.
You can just feel the dopamine leaving your body. You're like, I need it. They got a TV on in the house. You're screwed.
Phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having to be that on, and if you repeat that process on average, you do about 3 shows a day. You do about 3 presentations. So that's 9 hours out of your day that you have to be about 90% focused for.
Yeah.
And that is a muscle.
Well, it's not even focus. It's hyper focus. It's like, because not only do you have to be on, you have to keep your customer on, and you have to ignore every distraction that they throw at you because they want to talk about the personal lives. They're like, ooh, new people. I can tell boring stories to new people that my husband hates, but he'll listen because he has to because he's trying to sell me some crap.
Yeah.
Or the kids running through the house or whatever, and you got to like, your brain goes out, and then you got to pull it back, and then you got to recenter, and then keep going with the show.
Yeah, it is.
It's a 90-minute rubber band game.
Yep, it is, because when you're in front of customers, you're an entertainer. And just like when you watch, like for instance, if you were to go and watch a talk show host, that guy has to be entertaining for an hour. That's a lot. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So having to have that level of focus is a lot different when you can just let at other tasks, you can let your brain drift, you can do other things. You know, how much of a factory job is horsing around with other people or whatever?
Yeah.
How much do you
playing the goose game?
But there's a lot of other things that you get to do with your brain at the time. And having a hyper focus, that's a muscle. So learning that level of self-discipline and work ethic was invaluable to me as a person. Not that I can replicate that at this point in my life. That muscle is atrophied at this point.
I'm too freaking old, man.
But having developed that skill, I kind of know what that takes. And when it comes to doing certain tasks like that, I have that ability now that I didn't when I was younger.
Yeah.
So number 4 was learning what actual mental and emotional work ethic looked like. And number 5, and what I think is the most important thing I learned from selling vacuum cleaners door to door, is that you are in charge of your own emotions.
What does that mean to you? Because it feels like emotions just happen.
Emotions do just happen for most people because you have decided to let someone else be in charge of your emotions. The number 1 skill that I learned from Kirby, when you go up and...
Yeah, but they are in charge of my emotions. Emotions are reactionary.
Let me give you an example. On my typical day as a Kirby salesman, I have to knock on 72 doors in order for somebody to go, hey, come in and show me your crap. The other 71 people, whether pleasantly, not pleasantly, in different moods, because you never know when you're going to catch somebody. You know, maybe I interrupted this dude while he was getting laid for the first time in 6 months. He doesn't have a good viewpoint of me right now. So his attitude might be in the tank. And he's going to convey that over to me. In the words of, get off my property. In a word of advice, get off his property.
Seriously. He's probably got a gun.
Maybe. But, if I go and I take that to the next door, if that guy has a crappy attitude with me and I let that influence, because he just did something, I have some emotions that happen from them. If I take that with me to the next door and I have that crappy attitude, hey, let me in. They're not letting me in. They're not going to take a look at my crap. And if I do that, I'll end up knocking, and I've seen it before, and I've done it before, where I'll end up knocking on 600 doors in a day and nobody lets me in.
Well, you're famous for making other people do it. Old ammonia mouth Rob.
So, you are the only person who has any direct influence over your emotions, because when that person does that, you have a reaction. And I think everybody has a reaction, and there is a split second that causes anger or frustration or madness in you. And after that, though, I think that split second, probably somebody else is in charge of. But after that, that person, they don't have to live the rest of their day like that. That guy can go back to getting laid for the first time in 6 months and change his day.
He's going to be happy in 5 minutes.
Yeah. You're stuck like that. So the only person that can pull you out of that is you. Lots of different ways you can do that. I've used different things in my life, like music. A lot of people use music to affect their attitude. So when you think that somebody else is in charge of your emotions, but your way of coping with that is listening to music, that means you're taking a direct influence over your own emotions. And you're kind of counteracting your own point when you say that somebody else did that to you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to deal with the consequences of that. You are the one that has to go through life feeling angry because somebody else made you. And one of the things that I learned was to take charge of my emotions. A skill that you can develop is how to change your perspective and your emotions on life. You know, one of the things that I know is that it takes 72 doors to get in a house. The reason I know that is because I tracked that so that when I got told no at a door, I would be able to go 1 down, 70 to go. 1 down, 36 to go. 1 down, 20 more to go. And it helped me keep my attitude where it needs to be. Because you have to have this, to go back to point number 4, with the word, you have to keep your attitude and everything on point all the time. So learning to control your emotions and learning to take responsibility over that was a key asset that's helped me in the rest of my life. You know, one of the things that I get commented on all the time from people I work with, from people I hang out with, is I am always in a good mood. Really, I recently was angry. That happened recently. For the first time in years, I was livid and couldn't do anything about it. I was not in charge of my emotions that day. There was a situation that happened over the phone where I was on the phone with somebody and I could not calm myself down as hard as I tried. And it was really weird being a victim of emotions at that point in time. But even then, I had the skills that I was able to eventually rein that over.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite quotes that I see on the internet every once in a while, that guys like Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins and stuff will post this, I guess you'd call it a meme. It's got a catchy quote, like a motivational thing. is was it a bad day?
Or was it a bad 5 minutes and you milked it?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite quotes. Is because that's generally what happens is you let a 5-minute interaction from your day ruin your entire day. And if you're going to make because that's what you're doing in direct sales, you are making a living off of your emotions. If you're going to make a living off of your emotions, you learn very quickly that you're the only one in charge of those, and you can't take those 5 minutes and milk it all day. Because if you do, your income's zero.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And you find another job. That's what you do at that point. You go work at a factory.
Yeah, my next job was a janitor, to be fair. So.
Yep. And that is probably the number one thing that has helped me throughout the rest of my personal and professional life is that you are in charge of your own emotions.
All right, so let's recap. What are the 5 things?
Number 1, personal responsibility. You're the only one in charge of your life.
Number 2,
it's how to take no's. No's are tough in every case, and learning how to deal with those no's and go on living your life is a very important thing that I learned from door-to-door sales. Number 3 is what no actually means. Sometimes no means no. And I think there are some cases that we can all agree that are firm, no means no. There are other times where that no might mean something different, or maybe that no is an opportunity for you to learn something. When you get fired from that job or when you get turned down for that job, that's an example of a no that you can learn from and better your life. So it's good to find out what those no's actually mean. Number 4 is work ethic, and the fact that work ethic isn't all physical labor. The guy working in a cubicle is actually working just as hard as the guy on the roof. And number 5, you are the only one that's in control of your emotions.
All right, that's all for today. Catch you on the flip side. If you like this video, which there's no one watching right now, we uploaded our first one and it said no views, and we refreshed it for 20 minutes and then we gave up. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you next time.
Do it!
Do it! Just do it! Just do it!
Just do it.
That was a lot.
Bonus round, story time with the Bash Bros.
With the Bash Bros telling you about Ammonia Mouth Rob.
You can't say his name. We're going to say his name.
We're always going to say his name. He knows who he is. You steal from me. I say your name on public television.
So, our, let's rewind.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. Partway through my Kirby career, Casey came to drive for me so that he would drive and I would manage a crew.
It wasn't so he could manage a crew, it's because he couldn't drive at the time.
During the stint, a couple of days in, I had this guy that was working for me at the time named Rob. Rob was kind of a klepto.
Yeah. Not kind of. He was a klepto.
But not your things.
Just your food.
And your drinks.
And your food.
And your drinks. And the thing that's most frustrating about this is out of everybody working at that office, Ammonia Mouth made the most money. By a margin. He's the only guy.
By like double.
Yeah. You know, driving a new car, making good money doing this. But what happened is because we had 3 to 5 people on a van, you would go in to do your show.
And he would eat your freaking food.
Yeah.
And drink your stuff while you were in there trying to make money.
So I would...
And then he wouldn't come in and close for you. That was the worst part.
So we were in 16 hours a day, and at the time I was a little addicted to energy drinks because it's one of the ways that I kept myself up. Every time I come out, Rob would have finished my energy drink that I was looking very forward to after an exhausting 3 hours.
Yeah.
And
so one day we devised a plan.
the most devious plan that we could think of at the time. At the time, I was drinking a lot of Venom. Venom came with a twist top. So, let's lay it out for you. We're just going to throw it out. I peed in the bottle.
Yeah, the whole thing.
I filled that thing with my pee.
And I put it in the cooler.
Yeah. Casey here had the genius idea, if we chill it, it'll take him longer to know. And then, now, to be fair, we didn't want to coax, I don't think you should coax somebody drinking pee. In fact, probably you shouldn't make somebody drink pee, but we wouldn't have a funny story if we didn't. So, we just took that Venom and put it in the cup holder by the driver's seat. I go in to do an appointment. Casey goes to pick Rob up.
And I am not good at practical jokes.
So Casey's idea is because he can't not smile, he grabs a hold of the steering wheel and stares forward and drives.
I had to look out the window and just cough every once in a while. So we're like,
Rob's very sensitive to emotions, so he thinks at this point in life, Casey is mad at him. Yeah, so Rob's getting nervous in the driver's seat or in the passenger seat. He's trying to talk to Casey, and Casey knows if Casey opens his mouth,
gonna break.
says a word,
Not
Casey
the
will
string,
start
man.
laughing. There's pee in the container. So Casey
I
instead,
think you just spit across the whole room.
I probably did. Casey drilled under the steering wheel. So Rob waits until Casey is hyper focused, which is most of the time at this point,
Yeah, it's just white knuckles.
and creeps his hand up and takes that energy drink like this, so Casey won't see it. Cracks it. I don't know why, but for some reason, when he untwisted it, it goes like it's carbonated.
Which you sold it. I was so excited in that moment. I think I peed a little.
I peed a lot. So, unbeknownst to me, I'm off in the appointment right now. Rob uncaps this thing, looks over at Casey. Boom!
Just commits. Just absolutely commits to chugging this energy drink.
And as Rob...
I watch his Adam's apple go up, then down, and then up again as he leaned forward. And I just hear...
projectile vomit. As Rob says, he didn't realize it because it didn't touch his tongue. It went straight to the back of his throat.
it was
in a
amazing.
giant glug. And he had at least half a second of drinking that before he realized he had made a grave mistake. Projectile vomit all over the front seat. Casey now has the opportunity to brake.
Which I do when he hits his head against the freaking dashboard.
Off to the side of the road, door opens, all over the side of the road.
And that's the story of Ammonia Mouth Rob.
Almost a story. Rob decides he doesn't have it in him to go on another appointment. Since I get done with my show, I come back out onto the van. I sit there, I see the Venom with the cap off, and he vacated the passenger seat because it was covered in projectile vomit.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I sat in it.
He just stopped at McDonald's and got napkins.
I'm sitting in it. I see the vomit, see the cap off. They never bothered to put the cap back on or throw the bottle away. Rob's in the back seat. I don't say a goddamn word. And Rob, in the back, I just hear, it wasn't funny. It was. Yeah. That's the story of Ammonia Mouth Rob.
Catch you next time.
Oh.